What is the greatest form of warfare? Fighting evil on the battlefield to protect peace. Striving off an alien invasion to save the world. Like to know what I think it is? It's watching a bunch of robots smash the crap out of each other for ultimate glory! Oh yes, the metal munching is here, and it's here to stay! Sparks are gonna fly, machines are gonna die! So grab the popcorn and lock the doors, because this is Robot Wars! Welcome to the ultimate combat sport the world has ever known. A sport that makes football look like a game of volleyball. This is Robot Wars, and believe me when I tell you that the war zone is about to be set ablaze, as machines have come down for the ultimate glory, the Robot Wars Grand Champion. And from the carnage that is about to ensue, it's going to be downright brutal. The way the competition is going to work is as follows. Each heat will have 3 preliminary 3-way melees. The machine that falls first books a slot in the Bronze Rumble. The machine that falls second enters the Silver, and the machine that wins the fight progresses to the Gold. From there, the winner of both the Bronze and Silver snag themselves a one last chance showdown in the Death or Glory, where they will also be joined by the 2 machines that fell in the Gold Rumble, while the winner moves to the Heat Final. Our 2 winners and 2 fallen robots fight it out in a 4-way melee till only 1 machine is left standing, who will then move to the Heat Final. Our 2 lasting machines will then fight each other to the death till only 1 is left standing, with the winner progressing to the series Grand Final and 1 step closer to becoming crowned Robot Wars Grand Champion. If there is no clear winner in the fights, then it's handed over to the judges, who will come to a decision as to who gets to progress. They'll be marking on style, control, damage, and aggression. Over the course of the next 2 months, a total of 81 machines will be duking it out in each of our 9 heats. But only 1 can claim the title. But enough of all this chit-chat. I want to see some carnage! And the carnage begins with a real banger. Concussion hoping to give a concussion to Spinner, Cobalt, and Flipper Atomic. Hit a disc going for a spin to win against the lifting bucket of Bearmoth and the wedge of Breaker Box. But first, it's the wedge of Snowstorm against the Dualon, Mortis, and Spinning Dietor. Let the wars begin!
Snowstorm, Rambot. A very, very low wedge at the front with exposed wheels, but I don't think that should overly get to them, as the wheels are, while exposed, are extremely well protected, and it is quite nippy as well. You can get under these machines fairly easily, but there is no self-righting mechanism. Now it might come back to haunt them. Mortis, Lifter. One of the most expensive machines, if not the most expensive machine in this series. Mortis enters with a very tough armor, tracks, a lifting arm, as well as an axe. Why it wasn't considered an axe bar, I have no idea. The lifting arm can help itself right, surprisingly so can the axe. But the tracks are, well, they're a little bit susceptible to attacks, and it's not that difficult getting underneath them. Dietor, Spinner. The Irish have entered Robot Wars with Dietor, a spinning blade nose, invertible design, as you can tell from the ginormous exposed wheels, meaning it can drive both ways up, which is pretty good, meaning being flipped up and over, it's not going to cause a problem. But if you flip it up onto its face, then that could be an error, as it won't be able to really right itself effectively. If at all.
Robot ears, stand by.
Snowstorm with the wedge, Mortis with the tanto-bladed axe and lifting arm, and Dietor with the flywheel.
3,
3, 2, 1, go.
This is going to be a great opening battle, and it already is. Mortis and Snowstorm coming together. Here comes Mortis with a lift on Dietor. Trying to use their axe as well. Snowstorm looking for a good way to get in. And Dietor up and over! Now that might cause problems with Dietor. Not really, they can drive both ways up. But Snowstorm is ramping underneath Mortis. This is really good stuff. Oh! And nearly overturned Snowstorm! But look at that! It's Mortis who goes over! Self-rights perfectly though! Haha! Look at this! This is a problem for Snowstorm. Nearly overbalanced and over. But they've pushed Mortis up and over. It's self-rights quick though. Now, Dietor flung away, righted, Mortis stuck, and now self-right! Well, Mortis is definitely getting a bang, isn't he? Look at this! Clipped up and over, but there! And a quick self-right from the axe of Mortis. I think Mantis, different robot. Who's on top right now? Probably Dietor on damage. Snowstorm nearly overturned. Mortis on fire! And launched into the air! Well, and now Dietor launched into the air. That's a great weapon on Dietor, but what happened to Mortis? Instead of here, they've launched an attack! That's what happened! Dietor got a blade on the underside of Mortis! And that's it! Mortis! The drive gone! I think the weaponry's still working. It is. The weaponry works. It's the drive that's gone. Mortis immobilized and nearly flung out the arena there. Dietor is a beast in this arena. Now, how can Snowstorm beat that? Well, Snowstorm can drive underneath them very quickly. They're faster than Dietor. And Mortis in real trouble. What a shame as well. And there, the smoke, electrical fire. Oh, poor Mortis. Look at the speed of Snowstorm. And Dietor just spinning around on the spot. Now, is that wise, Dietor? Or are you just waiting for Snowstorm to come back? I'm guessing Snowstorm. Now, Dietor rolled over again. Mortis saying, hey, I'm still here, kind of. Up and over. And now, what's happened to the blade of Dietor? It's not moving. It doesn't seem to be. It could be. I don't think it is, though. I don't know why they're attacking Mortis. Mortis is out of it. Like, you can just stop now. And now, oh! That's what I thought would happen! Dietor stuck on their face! I said that was an issue! I said that! If they're flipped up and over, they can self-right easily, they can drive both ways up, but not on their face! And Dietor immobilized! Counted out! Snowstorm righting them! It's not going to change the battle score! Dietor goes to the Silver Rumble. Mortis clearly into the bronze. Snowstorm, the winner. And now, well, I guess Snowstorm wants to show they are better. They are stronger. They've definitely proven it. Dietor seems to be having drive issues. Mortis having all the drive issues. And now Mortis close to going down the pit. Here's Snowstorm. Again on Dietor, pushing them. Trying to, anyways. Dietor, it's just a weird design. Down the pit goes Mortis, so they're officially gone. And now for Snowstorm to try knock out Dietor underneath him again. The trouble they've got is up on the face again. The problem they've got is the design. It's not the easiest design to push. I don't even think Snowstorm's designed to do pushing! Snowstorm, what are you doing? Don't reverse! And now they're in the pit! Well, it's not like it matters really. Snowstorm still Still progressing through to the Gold Rumble. Dietor reversing. Oh, what a great fight. Well, definitely a great way to start the fight. Dietor. Only machine moving. But it's Snowstorm progresses through to the Gold Rumble, Mortis into the Bronze, and Dietor into the Silver. And their confirmation of how the first round went. Now for the second battle, Hypnodisc, Behemoth, and Breaker Box. Start your motors! Hypnodisc, Spinner. The Rose family enters with Hypnodisc with their self-riding arm and their key weapon, a flywheel that looks like a hypnotic disc. That's actually kind of ingenious. Designed by a 3-year-old as well, which makes it even more insane. The weapon is quite powerful as well, but if it hit in the wrong angle, they can go up and over. The self-riding mechanism should help with that. And also, they have exposed wheels. Let's just hope they are well protected. Well, they seem it. Behemoth Lifter. The front lifting bucket is the main weapon for Behemoth. It also has a top axe as well. It has self-riding mechanism capabilities also. It's quite strong as well. But there is a little lip right at the back, which means get in with a flipper, you might just have them. Or just anything low in general. Because, well, its ground clearance isn't 0 degrees. Breaker Box Rambot. A lifting wedge, 4-wheel driven, it's a box design. The wheels are exposed. That to me seems to be the key error with this machine. So those wheels will be easy pickings for any machine with a spinning blade. But getting to them will be tricky as it is very fast and that wedge is very low to the ground and they can get underneath machines pretty easily.
Roboteers, stand by.
Hypnodisc with the big flywheel, Behemoth with the lifting bucket and axe, and Breaker Box with the wedge that can swing backwards.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now, the weapon of Hypnodisc should do some damage easily. Oh! But not as effective as the weapon on Breaker Box. Behemoth flipped up and over. Now, the weapon on Breaker Box, while weird, it is effective as it throws Hypnodisc into the air. Meanwhile, Behemoth seems to be a little bit slow getting off the ground into the air. Meanwhile, wow, this is interesting. They're fighting in the one corner. Oh! Hypnodisc nearly out the arena there! But up and over! So is Behemoth! Now, Behemoth righted. So is Breaker Box. She's up and over still. She's not great of a commentator I am. Hypnodisc, 1-0. The Hypnodisc immobilized. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Well, like that. Breaker Box slamming at the Behemoth. There goes the axe. Now, Breaker Box, I don't think has much of a challenge here because there's not much movement from Behemoth. Up the side again. And now Breaker Box stuck on the angle grinder. There we go. Behemoth, is there a problem with the drive or is there a problem with the batteries? There's not much movement coming from them. They're extremely slow. I was expecting a lot more speed. This is a bit of an abysmal fight compared to the one we just had. Breaker Box once again up and over. You go up and over way too quickly, guys. Doesn't even know where to turn now. Behemoth. Well, they're moving. Moving. I think by the time the Earth's at a full rotation of the Sun, Behemoth will have reached Breaker Box. Breaker Box, I'm gonna go Hypnodisc fighting themselves. And Hypnodisc back into the action. Meanwhile, Behemoth just stuck in the corner. And And I'm wondering if something has gone in Bearmont. I think they have. Next time, try to do this. That's my advice to you people. Hit with this. Trying to get a good attack, but flopped up and over once again. And Breaker Box have pinned themselves against the wall. So, how does this work? Well, hit this were mobilized. Okay, so Breaker Box does breakdancing. Oh, is that why it's called Breaker Box? The breakdancing. That makes sense. Breaker Box through to the gold rumble, Hypnodisc into the bronze, and Bearmoth, shockingly, into the silver.
Cease.
That's a bit of a dull fight. Not much interesting things. Yeah. And there's confirmation there. Hypnodisc into the bronze, Bearmoth into the silver, Breaker Box into the gold. Next up, Concussion against Atomic and Cobalt. Concussion. Spinner. A drum spinner to be exact, 2-wheel driven and very big wheels as well as 2 forks to help get underneath the machines, more easier for the drum to do extra damage. It's invertible as well, so that's a plus, but it does struggle turning as it can do some gyroing, and it's not all that effective when it's flipped up and over. Oh dear. Atomic Flipper. The flipper of Atomic is the main weapon. There's also a rear CO2 powered spike at the back. Very strong armored, very powerful weaponry. Well, I think the only real issue is the limited CO2 gas supply. That, and despite the strong front scoop, the side armors, the side and the back that is, aren't particularly all that strong. Enough bladed strikes will be enough to rip the panels apart. Cobalt Spinner. A very dangerous spinning blade attached to Cobalt here. Its power is supposed to be very, very dangerous to any machine that comes anywhere near it. It'll be great to see how effective this is in combat. I'm not even sure if there is a weakness to Cobalt. Well, maybe if you hit it in the back, or flip it, but other than that, not seeing much.
Robot ears, stand by.
Concussion with the spinning drum, Cobalt with the spinning disc, and Atomic with the CO2 spike and CO2 powered flipper.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Oh, Atomic done themselves up and over. That's not good. Well, that might be. That's definitely not going to be good. Landing on the blade of Cobalt. What was that? Concussion. I have no clue. Atomic. Okay. Concussion. Coming to see if they are, as is Cobalt. And I think drive issues for Atomic. Have a look at the sparks fly from the body shell. This. Well, ball flung into the air. And that was Cobalt dying. Look at this again. In comes Cobalt, the back of Concussion. They're the ones who went flying as well. And roly-poly goes Atomic. Concussion. That is a dangerous blade. That is lethal. That could cause real damage as well. Up and over goes Atomic again. Concussion though, seeming to have the stronger drive. Now we will see who is better. Concussion trying to. The issue Concussion has is the design. They seem to be gyroing a little bit. That's not very good. But that is underneath the body of Atomic. That can cause their drum to do some serious damage. Atomic flung up and over, righted. And now Cobalt seems to be stuck in the wall. And now, and there! Off come the panel! And that's gonna cause real problems for Atomic. You can see them flying away. They get stuff right there. You can see the innards are exposed. And Atomic very much in trouble. Concussion, putting an end to that as well. Now there is no drive. And speaking of no drive, what's happened to Cobalt? There's no movement. There's fire coming from Atomic. But what's happened to Cobalt? They've just up and died. The drive's gone from Atomic, that's clear. And I think it's gone from Cobalt. What was that? Cobalt? Hello? There's no movement. I think Cobalt is broken down. How's that happened? Well, there's the drum from concussion causing extra damage. Poor Cobalt. They were on top the whole fight. I predicted them to win this and make it to the Gold Rumble. That's what I thought was going to happen. No. Concussions going through. Poor Cobalt. Well, that's a shame. Oh, poor Atomic. They've been beaten up this entire fight. Oh, and there, concussion flung up into the air. But I don't think it's going to matter much. Poor Cobalt. They've done so well. And now to descend into the pit of oblivion. While Atomic is nothing but a plaything for concussion. One more jab and that's it! Into the pit! And concussion through to the Gold Rumble. Cobalt will be going through to silver though, because Atomic were mobilized first. They are into the bronze. Confirmation there, Atomic into the bronze, Cobalt into the silver, and concussion into the gold. And this is how our next three melees are going to go down. The bronze with Mortis, Hypnodisc, Atomic, silver with Dietor, Behemoth, and Cobalt, and the gold with Snowstorm, Breaker Box, and Concussion.
Robot ears, stand by.
Hypnodisc with the flywheel, Mortis with the axe and the lifter, and Atomic with their flipper. I wonder if they've been able to repair themselves. Same with Mortis.
3, 2, 1.
Both of them took major damage in both their fights. Mortis flung into the air by Atomic. That's the first real attack we've actually seen from Atomic this heat. Hypnodisc staying away. Don't want to get flipped by the flipper of Atomic. But they'll definitely do that. Well, Atomic definitely gonna be in trouble. Well, that was in orbit. That was to the moon and back. Great landing too. And that is the problem. And that's poor driving there from Hypnodisc. Don't drive at it front on. That flipper will throw you out. And I'm wondering if there's a problem with Mortis. Hypnodisc is too busy playing with Atomic. What did I just say? Well, alright. I guess. Another blow to the side. Atomic. Oh, Hypnodisc. Nearly catapulted away. Definitely a very interesting. Sorry, did I say interesting? That's boring. Well, Atomic now. Now, that's the most movement we've seen from Atomic. And up and over goes Mortis. And Mortis are gone! Out the arena! Well done, Atomic! A good attack there! And now where did they go? What was that about? What on earth? There's the flip from Atomic onto Mortis. And out they go. And then, it's like the flipper catches the flywheel and it slingshots across the floor and out. And Hypnodisc, well, they were gonna win it eventually, I know that much, but Hypnodisc, the winner. Definitely a very weird end to that fight, but Hidden Disc goes through. Next up, Dietor, Behemoth, and Cobalt.
Robot ears, stand by.
2 spinner weapons, and a lifter. Dietor and Cobalt being the spinners, and Behemoth the lifter.
3,
No,
2, 1.
oh well, I guess we get another one. Dietor already in a bit. Oh! Cobalt up and over. Now that's intriguing. Didn't think that was gonna happen. And Behemoth underneath Cobalt. Not taking advantage. Interesting. Now, Cobalt coming in on Behemoth. And Behemoth running away. And now Dietor up and over. And flung into the air. And again. And so far, this is probably turning out to be Dietor's fight to lose because they were nearly flipped out the arena there. This is turning into... well, I thought it was turning into Cobalt and Behemoth ganging up on Dietor. Not anymore. Dietor righted, Behemoth doing a barrel roll. Cobalt once again on top. Dietor up and over again. Is there a problem with the drive of Behemoth? They'll need to fix that. They'll really, really need to fix that. Meanwhile, Cobalt on the charge of Dietor. Oh, lovely Dietor right now. Oof. Well, that was just cool. But now, Cobalt! And that was a good attack there from Dietor. What was that, Behemoth? I've already forgotten. That was definitely Cobalt. As was that. And Behemoth. Now, that was Dietor! Behemoth's gone! Look at this! They've just clipped the backside! And Behemoth is out! Well, how about that? Dietor! Sparks fly! And now... Cobalt? I think they've died again! They have! There's no movement! Is the spinning blade of Dietor working? Are they... well... how about that? Cobalt's weapon's still working! But Cobalt itself isn't! And that means Dietor is gonna get this victory! They're up and over! It's not gonna affect them really, they could drive both ways up. But poor Cobalt! Well... probably not the response they were hoping for. They thought they had fixed their problems. Turns out they hadn't! They've got new problems! Problems being, they're about to lose to Dietor! Behemoth's lost! I'm still in shock actually over that clip Dietor got on Behemoth actually. I'm still in a bit of shock at that. As well as this. Cobalt once again immobilized. And Dietor waiting for the 1 minute 30 mark for when you can push the tire to descend the pit. And that is the end of Cobalt. And Dietor, well, they've got themselves on the edge of the pit. Right. Now, how do you plan on... well, they can't now, they're in the pit. But they progress through to the death or glory. Commiserations to both Cobalt and Behemoth. What a fight! A great victory there for Dietor. Behemoth gone, Cobalt gone. Next up, Snowstorm, Breaker Box, and Concussion.
Robot ears, stand by.
Snowstorm with the wedge, Concussion with the drum spinner, and Breaker Box with the wedge. And I think they'll have the bigger problems.
3, 2, 1, go.
The reason being is because those wheels, yes, the wedges effectively actually got underneath Snowstorm's front, but the problem is the wheels are exposed, and Concussion can take advantage of that, which they tried to there, but Snowstorm denied that. And now Concussion up and over. So Breaker Box knows they've got to be careful of Breaker Box. And Breaker Box now in trouble, and Concussion can come in and do the damage, and that's a problem. Well, not sure they did enough damage there, but they've got a tire off, and there's fire! And I think Breaker Box are now. God, oh no! There's movement, there's still mobility, which is a surprise. It's the third time we've seen fire in this heat. First time with Mortis, there was no drive left in them. There was also fire with Atomic, no drive left in them. Breaker Box, however, there is drive, but I don't think control. Concussion coming back in on Breaker Box. Snowstorm stuck on top. And Breaker Box, I think that wheel, well, Snowstorm nearly went up and over. But I think Breaker Box has bigger problems, like the drive being compromised and there, and I think that might just be it. I think that's the end of Breaker Box. Now, well, if that wasn't it, then that definitely will be. And I think it is. There's no drive. Well, we can't really tell. Concussion won't leave him alone for 3 minutes. And, oh, that's precarious. So, what happens now? Concussion. Up and over. And they're just counted out, too. And they've got themselves stuck again. Oh, dear. Well, in comes Snowstorm. Now, the judges have said... Hang on, I'm getting measures actually from the judges. They're saying that that's not going to count as a full immobilization as they were righted, in a way. I mean, the one before they got stuck in the wall. What is Concussion doing? That's not how you move, Concussion. But then again, they're up and over. Their drive's a little bit suspect. But they can do some serious damage, which is what they're doing. The drum spinner is grinding the top of Breaker Box. I don't think there's really a need for it. Concussion, I think they just want to be back on the wheels, really. Concussion, can they right themselves? They nearly righted themselves. There they go! Concussion righted, and now coming back in on Breaker Box. That's great! Brilliant! And now Breaker Box is gone. Look at this. Concussion, as they come in on Breaker Box, Snowstorm, it's the bit release button. That's brilliant timing. Snowstorm, the clear winner. That's the best victory so far this series. Great. And there you have it. Snowstorm, the first of our Heat finalists. And this is how the Death or Glory looks. Hypnodisc, Dietor, Breaker Box, and Concussion. This is definitely going to be a very, very interesting fight for Breaker Box.
Robot ears, stand by.
Our first Death or Glory. Hypnodisc, Dietor, Concussion, and Breaker Box.
3,
Breaker Box.
3, 2,
1.
Go.
Breaker Box has to go up against 4 spinners. And there, up and over goes Concussion right from the start. They've won the lesson. At least that's what it looks like. Up goes Hypnodisc. 4x4. And there's Dietor. Launched into the air there. And now Breaker Box up and over and are in trouble. Dietor stuck in the corner, Hypnotist coming to check them out. Breaker Box on fire again. And I think that's Concussion's work there. Dietor, what are you doing, Dietor? And now, I think there's someone else on fire. There is, it's Hypnotist! Hypnotist's now on fire! Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Doesn't seem to be affecting Hypnotist. They're still battering Dietor. Meanwhile, Breaker Box seems to have come back on the attack on Concussion. Concussion trying to join the fight with Breaker Box, who's coming in on Hypnodisc. Slammed into the angle grinder. Theodore stuck in the corner. This is quite interesting. I don't know how to call this, but, well, everyone's now in the corner. Well, everyone's in the corner. Theodore, I think it was Theodore, Hypnodisc shot off. And here is, well, the blade of Dietor, very strong, very effective as well. Meanwhile, Concussion still grinding away at Breaker Box, and I think that's going to be the end of it, especially since a tire's gone. 2 tires gone, actually. 3, actually. I can see only 1 tire left. That's the back plate of Breaker Box gone. Dietor flung by the floor flipper. Concussion just casually grinding into Breaker Box for some reason. I don't know why. Hypnodisc coming in once again to deal with Dietor, or are they going back on Concussion and Breaker Box? I think the latter. Hypnodisc trying to get into some attacks, effective attacks anyways. Dietor's just doing nothing, while Concussion still grinding away at the back of Breaker Box, grinding the undergarments. Oh, that's a lot of smoke we're seeing in the arena from Breaker Box and Hypnodisc. Meanwhile, Breaker Box immobilized. Hypnodisc now under attack from Dietor, whose blade, I think, has stopped once again. And I'm not even sure if it really matters, because the blade is upside down, so it's not really going to be all that effective. Concussion pushing away at Dietor. Actually, well, the pit's down, so you got that to avoid. And Dietor flung. Meanwhile, Concussion coming in. And now Concussion pinned. Oh! And that's great driving there from Hypnodisc! Concussion are stuck on Breaker Box! They can't move! Breaker Box are immobilized! Well, that's great driving there! So who's gonna win between Hypnodisc and Dietor? Dietor's so coming in on Breaker Box and Concussion. I don't really know why, but I think with the whole thing, this will be Hypnodisc's fight. They've been in the fights more. Dietor hasn't really done much. And you can see Hypnodisc. Well, now Dietor's getting into the fight. Well, time. How am I going to call this one? Well, I think Hypnodisc are going to win this one. But this may just have to go to the judges, who will be marking on style, control, damage, and aggression. In comes Hypnodisc again with a final assault. Not enough to throw out Hypnodisc! Hypnodisc in the pit! Just as time's called! What a turn-up! Dietor steals the win from Hypnodisc right at the last second! Well, of all the upsets to make there, how about that Dietor stealing the win from Hypnodisc? Meaning The Heat final is Snowstorm against Dietor, a grudge match from the first fight.
Robot ears, stand by.
The Heat final, Snowstorm and Dietor. One with a weapon, one without one.
3,
3, 2, 1, go.
This will be hopefully well. Impact immediately, and it's already thrown Dietor up and over, and that's also going to immobilize the usefulness of the weapon on Dietor because it's spinning in the opposite direction. Now it could possibly do some damage. Well, it's clearly doing something to their drive. They're driven into the wall. Interesting. Snowstorm, be careful. Do not want to overbalance like that, because you could potentially topple up and over, and that's a great flip there from Dietor. It's right at them, and the weapon can now do something again. Snowstorm will need to be careful, or at least try and get Dietor back up and over, and avoid that, because that can cause a problem for Snowstorm. They can go up and over, and I think Snowstorm's gotten themselves stuck here. No, they're free. I thought they were stuck in the angle grinder. That would have been quite a shame, actually. Dietor, when did they go up and over? Anyway, they're up and over again, meaning the weapon is now once again useless. And I think there's a problem with the drive as well. I think when they're up and over and the weapon's spinning, it causes issues for the drive, which is why they drive into the wall and why they only end up being on one wheel if they're trying to turn. Snowstorm can use that to their advantage, help them get underneath faster, help them rack up more points. Because if this does go to the judges, they'll be marking on style, control, damage, and aggression. And there is no control in Dietor, but if Snowstorm had fully gone over, Dietor would have won that and gone through to the grand finals, because Snowstorm has no Shrimak. Dietor can drive both ways up. Now, is there anything left to do? Not really. Snowstorm. There's not really much Snowstorm can do. Well, Dietor's now righted, and once again, Snowstorm nearly up and over. They've got to avoid that. And now, what's happened to the blade of Dietor? What's happened to the blade? It stopped! I think it stopped when Snowstorm ran into it! Dietor up and over again as well, which is okay. But all in all, I think this is mostly Snowstorm's fight. Again, nearly up and over, but it's worked in their favor. Dietor on their side, and they cannot move. And that's how Snowstorm beat them before, slamming into them and righting them. Why? I wonder. I guess they want more of a fight, perhaps. Sure, let's go with that conclusion. Snowstorm. They can immobilize. Oh, again, nearly throwing themselves up and over. Snowstorm really needs to be careful there. But Snowstorm, once again, throwing over Dietor. Now, Snowstorm, waiting for the 1 minute 30 mark to release the pit. Does so. Now, to avoid falling into the pit themselves like they did when they tried to pit Dietor the first time round. And Dietor nearly down the pit. And again. And this is very, very, very close. Oh, Snowstorm, Dietor! Dietor, gone. And now Snowstorm in the pit again. Brilliant stuff, but it's Snowstorm through to the grand finals. This is where it all went wrong for Dietor. The wheel and the weight took him out.
And so comes an end to our first heat, with our first grand finalist. There are still 8 open spaces left, and 72 machines yet to do battle. So until then, sit back and enjoy the ride, because the fun is just getting started.